I'm just going to briefly give you an overview of what the project is about, why it has come to exist now, and also explain a little bit to you about some of the next steps. I hope we can do that really quickly, so excuse me for speaking really quick as well. So, 2 words about Danish Fashion Institute. We produce a lot of clothes. We have 120 members, and we push it to international markets. Not very sustainable, you might say, but we're trying to look at sustainable models for how to do that. That involves, of course, closed loop models around thinking around the system that we're in. So basically, this project stems from the idea that, yes, the industry needs some fiber in the future and wants to take care of what we have on us already now. We also believe that sustainability is one of the key elements of the Danish fashion industry, and actually on a Nordic level, that can also help sell the story about Danish fashion internationally, right? So we also believe that in a country with 5 million people, we cannot achieve this alone, so we work Nordically, we work on a Scandinavian level to really address these issues. And we have this bold statement, we work together with the rest of the, so to speak, Nordic fashion community, Nordic fashion organization. We've built an organization called the Nordic Fashion Association, in which NICE is one of the projects. NICE stands for Nordic Initiative Clean and Ethical. Sounds a lot better when just saying NICE. And if you can read the bold statement up here as part of the logo, we work to take a lead on social and environmental issues within the fashion industry. That's our promise, that's our vision for a future Nordic fashion industry. So, let's go into the recycling system that we're trying to build. And a few objectives. Today we have a return rate around 45%. We want to achieve around 90%. Where do we get that number from? We just looked at the refund and deposit system for bottles and cans that we have here in Denmark, actually achieving 87% of return today. We believe we can achieve that because we have the cultural background in countries such as Denmark to actually, we're quite used to delivering back these items. We don't know about the incentive system for that yet, but that's what we're working on. But of course we also want to we don't just want to collect everything and then what do we do with it? We can't swap everything. So we also want less to go to incineration. We want more to be reused. We want more of the cream to be sold here in Danish charity shops, and really also to start putting more focus on research into what we can recycle. Okay. So those are some of the objectives. We also want to really look at from an industry perspective. Of course, this is quite interesting because, as I'll come into later, the cotton prices have been going like this and very much like this. So there's quite an interest from the industry to really keep a focus and keep some of the resources that we have close to us, so we can build new products out of that. And of course, this goes into the whole green growth agenda, and also we want to build a system. So far, the system today that really surrounds the used clothes market is quite intransparent. We don't know much about it. It's been really hard to dig into it. So we go for 100% transparency. So let's just look at a little bit of the background for why we're doing this. This was some of the fluctuations I was talking about. In terms of the cotton prices. Now in 2013 we've seen a little bit of stabilization, a little bit going up again, but it's quite interesting to see how this has happened quite lately. Since 2010 we've seen these fluctuations in prices in cotton. That is something that worries us within the industry. So we would like to make sure how we can reduce this in the supply chain. Of course that goes without saying, we want to take care of the resources that we already have in the system. So that means your clothes. But not only cotton, of course also oil, right? Polyester. Polyester and cotton make up around 8% of our clothes today, so certainly also a resource to focus on. We know what is in the making in terms of peak oil. There is talk about peak cotton as well to happen around 2030. So really something for us to be focused on and to focus on new materials, not just how we recycle materials, but also how we look at new materials. We do that, but not as part of this project.
I'm just going to turn on your microphone for the camera.
Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot to turn that on. I was just thinking about.
I forgot to turn it on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think another background information, you probably all know this. Fashion is, of course, about consumption, right? We push our products to consumers. We want you to consume as much as possible of these products. We have new collections coming out almost every day, right? We have Zara, great business model, but at the same time pushing new products out every second week. So quite a significant business model that we're driving here. Almost a paradox to be talking about sustainability in this particular industry. But we know that there is change on the way. If it's not risk, then it might also come from the policymakers. Not so long a time, you had the Danish Social Liberal Party arguing for a refunded deposit system for apparel. Right? A little bit like we have on the bottles. We're quite good at that, as I mentioned, here in Denmark and the rest of the Nordic countries. So definitely something to take into consideration. Huge cry out from the rest of the policymakers, not really what they had expected, and certainly also from consumer organizations. Very bureaucratic, perhaps, to deal with, and I don't even know the word in English, but grænsehandel. So what we go down to Germany to buy, we buy a lot of beer down in Germany today. There was a little bit of a cry out in terms of we might be doing the same if we put a 10 kroner refund on the clothes that we sell. People will just go to, some people see it as another tax. Right? So that might not be the incentive. We should maybe look at other incentives. But that's just to mention also that there is a huge political focus on this. The whole resource efficiency strategy that is coming out, hopefully in August or September. We've been waiting for it for a while from the government. We'll also have a focus on textile. So certainly something that is a hot topic also from the policymakers, really to focus on the resources. All right. So here's some numbers. This is really difficult to get these numbers actually. This is, like I said, not a very transparent market. But you can see the numbers. We're actually doing quite good. If we look at what we have here, 37% is being collected today through charity organizations, 8% through private collectors. So 45% is the number I gave you earlier. It's where we are today. But a great potential, of course, for what we can do even better, right? We tend to throw some of our clothes out into the garbage bin, which is, of course, not the best option. Right, that goes right into the incineration. Yes, we do produce some energy with that. That is great, but is it the right way? LCA studies have shown, no, it's not the right way to actually just burn all those great resources. So let's look at how we can be better at that. We still need more information around this. These are numbers, yes, but at the same time, they also fill with a little bit of uncertainty. But we did get help from consultants, just so you know. And really, what I think is interesting in these numbers is also these from 10 to 50%. No, sorry, 10% goes to incineration. It's not always the case. Some of the collectors actually have higher numbers. Of the 45% collected that we have today, you see down here the private collector, they actually send 43% to incineration. So even though we put all our great clothes into those containers out there, we're not even sure that it's being sold in their own shops. We'll get some more information about some of this a bit later. But some of the shops only sell, some of the charities only sell between 5, 10, 15% perhaps. The rest is either exported or sent to incineration. as far as I've understood, at least. So there's quite some interesting numbers here. Briefly saying there is a huge market potential. There's a great potential for collecting more clothes, right? Between these 24 and 48 tons, which we should look into, which we are looking into. How can we get you as citizens to be better at bringing back your clothes? Probably you guys gathered in this room are not the right ones to start educating because you're already doing it. But we want to engage with you to get the best ideas on how we can get the rest of us to get back, to bring back this important resource. Really briefly around the project we're doing is just a 6-month project. It has been funded by one of these funding schemes on a government level that are looking at green business models. And we actually do here on the 26th of June, we need to show them the business case for this. All right, so the real numbers around where we can see the business case, but also the green case for this is also included. But we, of course, are not only us, we're working together with a consortium of key stakeholders, including industry, but certainly also consumer organizations, various entities, charities, and industry organizations, consultancies. This is the system as it looks today. I don't expect you to rather read that, just a signal that we also have engineers involved in the project. What I really want to focus on here is, up here today, is how we get, it says, I don't know if this one is a little bit better, well, not really, but it says consumer here, and these are the various channels where you today go with your clothes. We don't actually have swapping markets up there, but certainly it should be part of that. So this is what I would like to delve into a little bit later during the workshop, to get the best ideas from you, how we can get the most out of the citizen muscle and flex it to actually get more of the clothes back into the system. Just one final thing in terms of the next stage. We are currently in phase 1 of this funding scheme called Fornyelsesfonden. We want to move to phase 2, and that's why we have this exam almost on the 26th of June, later this month. And we see a number of potential partners. I'm not going to dig into what they are, but certainly we also need some co-funding for this. So we're working on that. I don't think we have time for questions, but I put it up there anyway. So I'll definitely hang around. I hope you got most of it. Basic message, working on a recycling system. We're going to test it, hopefully in Copenhagen to begin with. We're working with the Copenhagen municipality on this. I know that Frederiksberg is also in the room. So hopefully also we'll be able to work with Frederiksberg. Phase 2 of this project would be the testing. So that's what we're looking at, a 1-year test period. And that's why we need your ideas. Thank you.